Really important question for you. This is probably the most important question that I could actually ever ask. Tara or Tara? Do you ever use her super on just one brawler? Okay, so I've got a friend who is not very good at Brawl Stars at all. Man, Kairos, you bring me onto this series too, man. Come on. What you're saying there is you need to play your cards wisely.
Exactly.
What do you think about Tara's super? Do you think that's actually even useful at all?
Her star power, you mean?
Oh man,
You said super.
You're like, yeah, her super's OP, man.
I find her star power, sorry.
I got you doing it now. Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime and it is time to brawl. Today we've got yet another, and you guys like this series, another #1 pro brawler here with you, featuring none other than RealCanadian for his OP Tara skills. How are you doing today, man?
It's going great. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Now guys, if you don't already know of RealCanadian, you're clearly not playing very much to the top of the ladder, because this guy rules the top of the ladder with Tara. In fact, how many times have you been #1 Tara?
I think like 2 in the present and like 2 in portrait, and I'm planning on getting #1 again.
Okay. So at least 4 times he's been #1 Tara in the past. Going for it again in the future. Plenty of people that I've spoke to have definitely recommended to me that I bring RealCanadian onto the channel to give you guys his best Tara tips. So last season he finished the season #1. What's the highest you have ever been with Tara? Maybe not necessarily last season, but the highest ever.
951.
Really important question for you. This is probably the most important question that I could actually ever ask. Is Tara named Tara or Tara?
I honestly switch between, I don't even, like, I think I say Tara the most, but I want to say Tara. It's complicated.
I think we all have a love-hate relationship with her name. That's right, guys. OP tips here, and you now know that it's both. So, we're going to go ahead and start off right here for you guys. First of all, let's go ahead and go over the game modes and maps and things like that. Starting off with Gem Grab. Is Tara good in Gem Grab?
Yes, pretty much on every map. Well, every map she's at least usable, but there's some maps like Bonebox. She's a great counter to the double tank Poco comp, and I really like her on Temple Catacombs. I've been pushing her on those 2 maps mainly, and also Deep Hollows. But all on the other maps, she's just so battled by Spike and Nita for better lane options. But on those 3 maps, there's a wider selection of options you can use, so I really like Tara on those maps.
Do you just avoid playing Tara on those maps where Nita and Spike are there a lot, or do you just overcome them with your OP-ness?
I mean, let's see, on Crystal Cavern, a lot of people run Spike and Nita, so I like her on Tara, but as a mid, I'd get someone to use Piper, because Piper does so much damage to Spike and Nita, and it's a great counter. Okay, I gotcha. So what tips do you have to playing against Anita and Spike? Because those 2 do seem to give Tara some trouble, at least when I'm playing her. Maybe not you. You don't really want to like stick yourself to one wall, because that's where Nita and Spike shine the best. They can hit you around walls. Like Nita's shot can like diagonally go across the wall, while Spike's that explode from the shot, they can also poke at you. So what you really just want to like pretend the grass is there, move around, poke at shots, and you never want to go up until one of your other teammates won their lane. That is when your mid and your other teammate can help you win your lane, so then you can start spawn trapping. I like it. We're already starting off with the OP tips. This is fantastic. Okay, the next game mode, Solo Showdown. You really don't want to use it when you first unlock her to like 300 trophies, nothing higher. Okay, and Duo Showdown? Same reason, like when you first get her, push her to 300 trophies, that's it really. Okay, cool. How about Heist? Not at all. She does so little damage to the safe. All the brawls are spread out. There's a Daryl rolling in. There's a Shelly at their safe. There's just no way you can get value with your super. And then Bounty. Not really. There was a short period of time where you could use her on Cabbage Patch, but nothing else. You really want to stick to Brawl Ball and Gem Grab. Okay, and then my last one was Brawl Ball. Tell me about Brawl Ball. She's amazing there. I think right now in the meta, you're better off pushing her on Brawl Ball than Gem Grab. If you want like a much more consistent winning streak, she's good on every map, like amazing. I have the most success with her on Triple Dribble. At the start of the game, you go up to the left, shoot diagonally upwards to the right, because that's where their ball carrier will be getting the ball to start the game. And if everyone clumps up there, you can get so much value with those shots, and you could probably almost get a super.
When you land it on 2 people, is that what you're saying? Or even just 1 person, right?
Yeah, if you just like spam all 3 of your shots, you're most likely going to be over halfway to your super.
So we'll probably talk about her super a little bit later on. But before we do that, I didn't want to forget one question. And that is, do you ever use her super on just 1 brawler, or do you always wait until there's an opportunity to do 2 or 3 brawlers?
No, it sounds good on paper because you always want to be having your super to even just scare the enemies. But if you need to just super 1 brawler to get a goal or to win your lane, it's really worth it.
So you definitely do use it to win your lane and then recharge the super then, kind of like that?
Yeah, like even if you don't get your super back, it's really useful, because if you have the lane advantage, then you and your mid can pressure the brawler that's supposed to only be targeting you. So it's a sort of a 2-on-1 when you're down to super.
Okay, now we got that out of the way. We'll come back to the super later on because I know a lot of people want to know how to use that the best. Okay, so I've got a friend who is not very good at Brawl Stars at all, and he is just unlocked Tara. What kind of advice would you give to him who may not be named? Man, Kairos, you bring me onto this series too, man. Come on. Yeah. So your best noob tips to him.
Probably the most basic. You really want to conserve your shots. Like, you really want to only shoot if like 70% you're gonna hit it, because her reload speed is really slow compared to her damage output. Like Nita, Spike, Shelly, all those other mid-range brawlers have a much higher reload speed. So even if you just hit 1 card, it's going to do such low damage. You really want to be making sure that you hit your shots 1 by 1, doing consistent damage.
What you're saying there is you need to play your cards wisely.
Exactly.
He was gonna use the joke and he didn't, so I decided that I would.
I forgot.
Okay. So, what about some tips to somebody that wants to go from great to pro with Tara? They really want to become fantastic with her.
Probably, this goes for gem grab and brawl ball. You really want to be aware of your surroundings, because that's probably a good tip, even just for using your super correctly. If you are pressuring your mid, the opposing mid, you see a brawler coming in from the top left corner, they think you don't see them, but you just catch them at the corner of your eye, you could time your super, drop it at your feet, and then both the mid and the lane brawler will come right to you, and you can just deal so much damage and get another super.
So pay a lot of attention, and that goes for any game mode, including gem grab and brawl ball, right?
Yes.
What's the best tips that you have for Tara's attack? How do you use that?
You mainly want to pair Tara not with the support brawler, but with another aggro brawler in gem grab, so she can push people back, support the mid, but also like a second aggro. So you can have 2 aggro or 1 aggro and 1 support. She kind of can do both jobs. Like I said, it's good to farm your super off the opposing gem carrier. I find that helps a lot. And you really need to memorize what combos of Tara does. So let's say she can 2-shot all the squishy brawlers like Piper, Spike, Crow, Ricochet. Everyone knows how she can 2-shot them at close range. And she could 3-shot anyone from Brock's health to Shelly's. So she cannot 3-shot Anita, she cannot 3-shot a Poco. That's really important to know. And if you use her super, hit 3 cards, that'll do 2,800 damage. Knowing all of these things is really important, because if you see a brawler at, let's say, 2,700 HP, you can just use your super, use 3 cards, and you immediately kill them.
And by 3 cards, you mean 1 attack, right?
Yeah, like 1 perfect shot.
Okay.
Got one more thing. Let's say let's say you're on like a 1x3 wall, like a wall 3 blocks wide, 1 block tall, and you're playing ring around with the other brawler. This is just a general tip. Your shot, if you back up from the wall and face the narrow part of the wall, you can use your attack, and 1 card will go through either side of the wall. That really helps when you're trying to like push someone out of a wall.
Okay, so one other question I have, because Tara does so little damage from a distance. She really does the most damage when she's really up close, but at the same time, she outranges a lot of other brawlers that she faces up against a lot of the time, like Nita, for example. How often are you waiting till you can get close to unload her regular attack versus using it at a distance?
Well, for long-range brawlers, obviously you want to get as close as you can, because Her shot only does 1680 at close range, but her attack shoots very quickly, like probably faster than Shelly's attack. So if you could land 2 shots right away, you could take out a long range brawler, or even Spike. Like Spike, it's a 50-50. You can either poke at him because he has such low health. You can poke at him, use your range to your advantage, or if you want, you can wait to go right up to him and then just auto him 2 shots and he's done.
So how often do you find yourself actually playing from a distance then with her attack?
Obviously against tanks, like even with if I'm playing a double tank comp, sometimes what I do, I'd get my super, start to go like 1v1 close range fisticuffs with the Primo, and let's say a Bull, a Frank, or Daryl comes in to support the Primo, I'd super my feet. Both of them would come right to me, then I can attack both of them, cycle another super, and if I need to use that, I can use it, and then they're all done.
So, another question that I have is, how often do you use auto-aim for her regular attack?
Only at close range you really want to do that, because since the closest part to her of her attack is super narrow, that's the only time you want to use it. If you're able to use manual aim at like max distance, you're more likely to hit 2 shots at max range, which is possible. You can do that. Yeah. So if you keep aiming, you can constantly be hitting 2 cards worth of damage.
That's actually a really good point, because if you auto aim, it will shoot in the middle and only 1 card will hit a brawler. But if you manually aim so that it's a little off center, then you can at max distance actually hit with 2. That's OP right there. That's an OP tip right there.
Yeah.
How do you best use Tara's super? Well, first of all, do you ever auto aim her super?
No, you never really want to do that.
Okay. So don't ever use auto aim for her super. So what are your best tips for her super then?
So Tara's super, you need 10 cards to get it. It has a 3x3 radius that can destroy walls and knock back enemies. We all know that. It has a 4 tower radius. Those are just some basic tips, and sometimes you can do a really good trade-off. If you're on a breakaway in Brawl Ball, you can use your super, just break the front wall, quickly score a goal. That's probably a really useful trade, because that just puts you in the lead, and now you know that the opponents will be going more aggressive to get their own goal. So by knowing that, you know that if they'll be coming you more, you can charge up another super really quickly. And this is one that's very versatile. I really like doing this. If you pull 1 brawler to you, or let's say you try to pull 2 brawlers to you, but you only pull 1, a really good thing to do is move yourself so that when you line up a shot, you can hit both brawlers, the one that you pulled and when you're trying to pull, with 1 shot. It makes it much easier to get a next super, and you can get like twice the value because you're hitting 1 shot with hitting 2 brawlers, so it's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. One good gem grab tip, if you're in a pinch and the enemy has countdown, if you see the opposing gem carrier behind the wall, a really good trick is to aim your supers at the center of the super is on the wall, so the gem carrier will get pulled to the wall, take 2 cards worth of damage, the super does 2 cards worth of damage, take a little bit of damage, then they're exposed, then you can kill them, and your 2 teammates are fighting the 2 other teammates, so it's a 3-on-2 against the gems, and since there's 3 more than 2, you get the gems most of the time.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I like it.
You could even use that in Brawl Ball. If you see enemies behind a wall waiting for, let's say, your Mortish to dash in, you can super the wall, breaks the wall, deals damage to both or 3 enemies. You can wipe them out completely if you need. If you have another super, use it again, because that's just 1 super for 1 gold. It's good value.
What other tips do you have as far as using her super?
Oh yes, you always want to make sure to have at least 2 shots. No matter what HP they're at, you need to have at least 2 shots. Unless they're at if they're at 1 shot range, you can use your super, hit one shot, and then they're most likely done. But if you're trying to super a big group of enemies, you really want to have at least 2 shots. Even if you have 1, it'll do some damage, but you probably won't get your super unless you're at really close range. You probably won't cycle another one.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if I don't have any ammo, I shouldn't use my super.
No.
Okay, always have those 2 shots so that you can actually deal damage afterwards. I like it. I'm going to give that pro tip to one of my friends. Dang you, Kairos. What do you think about Tara's super? Do you think that's actually even useful at all?
Her star power, you mean?
Oh, man.
You
You're like,
super.
You're like, yeah, her super's OP, man. What do you think about her star power?
I find her star power, sorry.
I got you doing it now.
The only real reason you want to use it for a meat shield, let's say is really good against shotgunners that spam auto aim. If you super 1-2 you, and a Shelly has a super ready or a Bull has a shot ready, that little shadow can take all that damage.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like it.
The only real reason for it is a meat shield.
Is there anything else that you want to mention before we finish up these pro tips?
Probably the first thing you want to do when you get Terra is yell in your fan chat that you're insanely lucky that you got such a good brawler.
I love it. I love it. Anyways, Real Canadian, thank you so much for jumping onto the channel. Are there any shout outs that you'd like to give to some people before we end this up?
First of all, I want to shout out you for having me on.
Aww.
I want to shout out the huge Nova family that I am a part of. It's a great community there. I also want to shout out the gang. That's literally what it's called. The group of people that helped me push a lot. So there's Dr. Despicable, Kai, Patchy Pirate, Sam, Sandy Cheeks, Sky, Slayer NA, Tiny Turtle, or Johnny Boy, and Molly. So
you just shouted out some really OP players there.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you drop a comment in the section below letting me know which brawlers you still want to see. I'm lining some up, doing the best that I can to reach your guys' needs. For now, this is Real Canadian and KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.